Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Speaking of Zane. In fact, it's the 306th, that's 306th edition of Speaking of Zane, January the 19th, 2025. Wow, here we go. We started way back in 2018, so we started pre-COVID and went all the way through COVID. And here we are in 2025. Good to have everybody in there. Should be a short one tonight, just a few updates. Um, But good to have you all here on a long weekend. Tomorrow being Martin Luther King Day, so I know works out, government's out. Well, except for the inauguration. So tomorrow it's kind of a unique day, I guess, isn't it? You've got Martin Luther King Day, so it's a federal holiday. Schools are out. Um, Works out. Last holiday until Memorial Day, I believe. Last official government holiday. And it's Inauguration Day. So we got Martin Luther King Day, Inauguration Day about midday, and National Championship game tomorrow night. So a lot happening on January 20th this year. Who are you rooting for? Notre Dame or Ohio State? I'm going with Ohio. I'm going with Notre Dame. I think, as I have a good buddy at work that's a Notre Dame fan. But just looking for a good game. I try not to get too invested in these games since I don't really have a dog in the fight. But it should be a good game tomorrow evening. And then back to work on Tuesday. We are expecting more winter weather in the South this week, in the deep South. In fact, I think there's going to be more um, precipitation possibly south of us than we will have. We're just going to have some really frigid temps, teens, highs in the 20s. I think it's already started to drop out there. It's what is it, -2 Celsius according to my screen here. So what's that? About 29 degrees, I guess, Fahrenheit. But yeah, so I'm hoping we don't get any precip this week because I'm traveling on Wednesday. My flight's at 6 p.m. on Wednesday to St. Louis. So hopefully everything will be okay up here in Atlanta. But I know that folks south of us, all the way down to the Florida-Alabama border, are preparing for cold weather and precip, freezing rain, snow even, depending on the models that you look at. It's crazy. But I guess we shall see what happens. Let's see. They had wreaths across America wreath pickup yesterday here where Zane is, and Lori and I did not go. It was at 9 in the morning, and it was raining and wet and everything. We decided not to go and deal with traffic and everything. But we did go later in the day and made a good day out of it. We went and spent some time with Zane. Lori put some nice new flowers at his headstone, and we left there and took some back roads through some places we hadn't been before, and wound up in Calhoun, Georgia, where the closest Buc-ee's is to us. So it's amazing when Buc-ee's becomes a destination instead of a stop. But Lori said, "Why don't we go to Buc-ee's?" I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And we took a different route there. Took I say scenic route. We took a route through the northern Georgia backwoods. But anyway, it was a good time. It's always Buc-ee's is always enjoyable. And humorous and all of those things. But so that was good. So we didn't do the wreath pickup, but we did go out there and spend some time. And it wasn't that bad. We were still about 50 degrees yesterday. It's going to be dropping, already dropping, like I mentioned. But and then our little granddaughter, Carson. Hi, Carson. She's downstairs watching, I think, with Grammy. But she's staying with us tonight, and she always enjoys ringing the doorbell when she comes over for me to either look at the camera or come down and greet her so she can surprise me. But she says, "Granddaddy, I'm here. We're having a sleepover." So anyway, she's a handful, but she will be with us overnight and through a good bit of tomorrow, I believe, because her mom has to work and her daycare is closed. Let's see. I can't think of any other updates. Hat of the week, hat of the week, hat of the week. Hat of the week always has something to do with whatever the heck is going on around here. And I just decided to wear a good old fashioned American flag hat tonight. And that's what I'm doing. So God bless America. Looking forward to tomorrow. Well, let's see. Jimbo Miller's in there. Hey, Jim, good to have you in there. Steve Shirley is in there. Lori and Carson. I mentioned Jim. Uh-oh, I hear somebody pitter patter. There's Ken in there. Hey, Ken. Brenda Lusk is in there. Oh, there's Carson. What are you doing? Say hi to everybody.
Hi. Hi, everybody.
Tell them what your name is.
Carson.
You have to speak up so they can hear you.
My name is Carson.
And how old are you?
5.
And who's your daddy?
Jackson.
And who's your mommy?
Caitlin.
Okay. Who's your granddaddy?
Granddaddy.
Okay. So you're getting ready for bed? You got jammies on?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. Is Grammy waiting on you? Give me a kiss. Mwah. All right. All right. No. I'll see you later.
I'm not going to see you later. Tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. I got to finish up my thing. Okay.
We're watching you.
You're watching me. Okay. I will see you later. Okay. Well, there was a nice cameo there from Miss Carson. There's Toby in there. Oh, hi, Ken. Oh, you're talking to Carson. Yes, she is cute. She's definitely cute. She's 5 years old now, and every time since her birthday that she comes, she makes sure that we know that she is 5 years old now. She's adorable. She's the daughter of our youngest son, Jackson, who is and his wife, Caitlin, who had the gallbladder surgery last week. She's doing fine. She came home a couple days or the day or so after, and she is going back to work tomorrow. So there you go. Modern medicine. Okay, well, let's see what else is going on around here. I just pulled one. I had a lot of things going on around here and doing a lot of things, and I just didn't spend a lot of time on this week in military history. But I did find one item because I saw it during the week this week, and that was the anniversary of the beginning of Desert Storm. Do you guys remember that? Who all remembers that? And where were you? That happened to be. Remember, we had Desert Storm or Desert Shield, which was the run up, the build up, and then we had Desert Storm kicked off officially January 17th, 1991. January 17th, 1991. I was at Offutt Air Force Base with some of you flying the Looking Glass mission, and we had all of us in Looking Glass crew members and everything. We did all of our mobility stuff, got all of our shots and wills and all of that stuff. We had everything prepped. We always had to have a go bag with us, and we were all ready to go and cycle through rotations and stuff. And then the ground war ended so quickly that negated a lot of the things that they thought they were going to need, and so we ended up not going. Some of us did, like Randy Bergmeyer and some others out of Ellsworth, but we were all ready to go. I remember, CNN was the predominant news source back then, and the coverage was nonstop for sure. And here we were flying the Looking Glass operational missions and watching CNN, to get updates. But we did have chatter and stuff that we saw. On missions, but Mary's in there. All right, well, let's see. Let's get to our challenges here and maybe have a short one tonight and get on with the long weekend. Um, I mentioned Lori and I both went to Georgia National Cemetery yesterday. I know my dad makes and my sister make regular visits to Evergreen, where my mom rests. So I always count those. So my total for the week 7 visits. So I've got that down, and we're currently at 1,379 visits that this group has made over the years to visit veterans at cemeteries across the country and indeed across the world. Um, Lori and I have been to Cambridge American Cemetery in England. I've been to Brookwood American Cemetery in England. Um, Jim, or not Jim, Steve Shirley has been to a number of American cemeteries throughout Europe, if I recall, Netherlands maybe, and some others. And then we always, during the course of a week, this group is in the habit of having conversations with veterans or service members or first responders or thanking or acknowledging or whatever the case, veterans. And whenever you do that, you all let me know. And we've been tabulating it for years now. And this week, I'll tell you, I had quite a few veteran interactions. These were all work related at work. Anthony, Michael, Dennis, Rocky, Brandon, David, and Glenn. So that was 7 there. Ken's piping in there. Had 2 thank yous. Okay. Well, I'm sorry the circumstances of the occasion there, Ken. But we'll get you down there for 2 thank yous. 2 for Ken. So that takes our total for the week to 9. We'll take that up there. And looks like we're at 3,228. 3,228 times a member of this group has acknowledged a service member, a veteran, a first responder. And in my book, that is a good thing. How about that? All right. Well, let's see. Nothing new to report in the organizations section. I hear Carson downstairs. She must be resisting bedtime. 12 past her bedtime. She goes to bed at 7 when she's at home, I believe. But when she's with Granny, as structured as Lori is, sometimes Carson stays up a little bit later. But let's see. So nothing to add there. I did have an idea. I told you guys last week I was looking for different ideas and open-minded to different ideas about things that we could talk about during Speaking of Zane. But the primary being to just saying Zane's name. That's the main thing for me um, is speaking his name so that he's not forgotten, and that was the whole impetus to this thing. And we're not going to spend 30 minutes or an hour just saying his name right here, but other things came along, like visiting the cemeteries. Lori and I were never in the routine of visiting military or veteran cemeteries before we put our own son in one. I mean, I had been to Arlington, I think once or twice, but had never really thought about them until that time, and then really had never been in the business of saying thank you to folks that serve. But anyway, so this what started out just as a way for me to an avenue for me to say the name Zane Colby McDonald, has turned into some other things, and I'm open-minded about it, other topics, right? Other things that we could do. One I thought about was books, book reviews or book recommendations. If anybody, you can see I read a lot of books for work, at work, and out of work, but over the years I've been reading a lot of sort of military related, a lot of history, military related books. So I thought I would prime the pump a little bit tonight and share some of the books that I've read or am reading, read lately or am reading now, and see what you guys are reading or have any recommendations. I'll pull a couple. Um, Here's one that I love that sometimes it's not necessarily military related, but I think someone gave me this. It's called The Portable Patriot, and it's just a collection of documents, speeches, etc., from history, from the before the revolution, through the revolution, after. Um, it's really kind of a cool thing. It's a nice little short excerpts. Anyway, I'll pull that one out every now and then. Um, Somebody gave me this book recently. I haven't even started it yet, and I'm trying to remember who gave it to me. But it's a book. It's called "Give Me Tomorrow: The Korean War's Greatest Untold Story." Give me tomorrow. Somebody gave me that or send that to me. If it was you, tell me. I'm sorry, I forgot. But somebody gave me that one. I haven't even started that one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I got this one. Gosh, a couple of years ago, Lori. It was during COVID, I think. Lori and I were doing some during COVID. We were doing some history tours, and we did one, the Great Locomotive Chase. And I think I found out about this book then. I don't think I got it then, but it's a book called um, "They Answered the Call" by Sal Amico, and he lived down here in Georgia. He's not from Georgia, but he lived down here after he retired, and in Bartow County, um, just up here, a little town called White. In fact, Lori and I drove through White, Georgia, on the way to Calhoun the other day. But it's a collection of um, stories about men and women in North West Georgia who answered the call, served it. Local folks. These are local folks. It's really weird. I can't remember where I got this one either because I've got a signed copy of it. Lori, do you remember? I've read a few of the stories here. Um, I can't remember who. I might have bought it. I can't remember who shared it with me, but I think Lori and I saw something about it when we were on that little jaunt of ours. Oh, Jimbo's reading a good one. I have a copy of that one, Masters of the Air. It's all about the mighty Eighth Air Force. See, Lori gets me all this stuff. I just don't remember. She gets me so many things I don't remember. Um, but Masters of the Air is fantastic, Jimbo. I don't know if you got to watch if you got to watch the series. I think it was only on Apple TV, but just fascinating. Masters of the Air. It's quite a collection there, but very good book. I have that one. I've never read all the way through it yet, um, and it's a collection of stories, somewhat chronological, but a collection of firsthand accounts and whatnot. But the series, the Masters of the Air series that came out last year, and I think it was 9 or 10 episodes, was based on that book. Here's another one very similar. This is a series of books. I don't think I have all of them. Um, but speaking of Masters of the Air, it's called "The Things Our Fathers Saw." And this episode here is, see, it says Volume 2, The War in the Air, all about the 8th Air Force, and B-17s, B-24s. Um, but good, just a collection of stories, firsthand accounts. Here's another one, um, also having to do with the air war in Europe, but it's called Combat, Captivity, and Reunion. So it chronicles very specifically after any of these crews were shot down, what was their what was the circumstances, and what was the captivity like, and then of course the reunion stories. But these are two that I've read uh, excerpts, and I'll take these when I travel. I'll throw one in my bag, and I'll just read a couple of stories on my trips and back. And then speaking of the Great Locomotive Chase that Lori and I documented back during COVID, um, I got this book, and I can't remember where. I need to start. So here's what I need to do. When I get a book, I need to start writing down where I got it from or who got it for me, because I've got this one. It's quite a book here and lots of photos as well. But it's called the Complete Civil War Road Trip Guide. More than 500 sites from Gettysburg to Vicksburg. I've been to Gettysburg and Vicksburg, but it's just a nice. It's almost like a travel guide of these sites, and I can't remember if I got this before or after um, when I took my daughter Charlotte um, to the FBI Academy and dropped her off there at Quantico. I stayed in the region for another week, and I visited um, Manassas and Richmond and um, so many different cemeteries, battlefields. I didn't go up into Gettysburg. I had already been to Gettysburg up in Pennsylvania. I stayed in Virginia and Carolinas. And then I ended that 7 day or so um, road trip, if you will, what turned out to be a Civil War road trip at Appomattox, uh, where uh, where they signed, where the surrender was held, and just fascinating. So Lori got me this book too. See, Lori, but this, yeah, it's and down here in Atlanta, um, you know, is sort of where the culmination of everything occurred, all the way, from Nashville, Franklin to Chattanooga, and then down through North Georgia to Atlanta, and then eventually across over to Savannah. But so rich in history here. We have a battlefield just 10 minutes from the house called Pickett's Mill. But anyway, those are some of the books, and it's just a little portion of the books that I've either read, am reading, or read stories from when I travel. But I thought that might be a cool little segment there. So I'll try to come each week with um, a book or a review of a book or an excerpt, and see how that catches on. And you guys do the same. I open to reading. Um, so share that with me. Okay, I think that's all I've got tonight, folks. I'm going to kind of wrap it up, I think, early tonight. But don't forget to check on your buddies, check on your friends. We don't know the circumstances that people are always dealing with. They don't always share readily. But one thing we can do is be proactive and outreach to people. Just say, hey, how the heck are you? And be that person. Remember, Ronald Reagan said, "We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone." And I've always loved that. Um, so we don't know them all, but we certainly owe them all. And that's why we do the weekly thank yous. But with my buddy Todd in there. Hey, Todd, good to have you in there. All right. Well, thanks, everybody. Appreciate you joining tonight, as always. And enjoy the day off tomorrow. And however you celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day, the inauguration, college football, is a lot of things going on tomorrow. And then back to work or school on Tuesday. And we'll look forward to seeing you all back here again next Sunday night. I'm staying in St. Louis. I've done this several times now over the last couple of years. I'll stay into Saturday, and I'm helping them do some interviewing on Saturday morning at a career fair, and then come home Saturday afternoon. But, we'll be back here to see you all again next Sunday night for Speaking of Zane. There's Jonathan Peters in there, one of Zane's battle buddies. Good to have you in there, as always. And we'll look forward to seeing you all again next week. Thanks, pal.